Hi everyone, my name is Sanket, this is Bill and Octavio, and we are the MyLock team. So recent studies by eMarketer have shown that people use more time on their mobile phone as opposed to a PC or computer, almost the same time at least. So your phone is used for very sensitive data or apps. So you use it for banking, social networking, emails, etc. And current security mechanisms on the mobile devices are pretty hard to use and inconvenient. So if you put a really hard password, you will have to enter the same password even if you're at home again and again. So our aim is to create an application that provides you a secure and convenient authentication options, and it stores your files in the background. So every time you want to access your files, you basically go through the custom authentication options that we devise. So currently we use GPS and Wi-Fi to determine what the location is, and if the location matches one of the safe zones or any zone that the user sets, it will provide you one of the 4 options. So no password, standard password, gesture password, and signature password. And only once the user successfully authenticates, then he can access his files that he stored on the app. So it's not really replacing the lock screen, it's just accessing the app itself that is restricted at this point. Okay, so our design is divided into 2 phases. There's a setup phase and there's authentication phase. In the setup phase, we ask the user to enter signature, gesture, and change the default password. So we ask the user to enter 5 samples of their signature and their gesture, and then we do some transformations on that, and we save all this data in a database for the authentication phase. In the authentication is, as I described, so based on the location of the user, we provide you one of the 3 options, and once the user authenticates, he can access his documents. However, since gesture and signature are not that perfect, we also provide a user to use his password if after 5 times he fails to authenticate through signature or gesture. And if no password option is set, you basically bypass this whole section and just directly access your documents. So now Bill's going to do the demo.
All right, thank you, Sankit. I'll just click. Okay, now I'm just gonna walk you guys through the app, and also show you guys the important parts of the application, and also try to authenticate the app using signature and gesture recognition. So this is the main page of our app, so you can store your sensitive information there. So I just put some random stuff over there, and this is the main part. This is actually the core of the application. So you can do your gesture training there, signature training, and define your location and changing your password. So when the user first opens the app, it will ask the user to enter a default password. And this is a part where you can change your default password. And just gonna exit that. So our app is location based. So the user can set a different password at a certain location that he or she defines. So this is where you define the location. I already defined the location there, and it's for this classroom. So, and I set it to gesture password, so it defines this location to be a gesture zone. And just to save time for the presentation, we already trained the gesture, and it's a up and down movement. So now I'm just gonna exit the app and then come back to it. So now it's gonna ask me for the gesture. So I'll perform a wrong gesture first. And it's wrong. So now I'll go for the correct one, which is up and down movement. Now it goes in. So the next part is the signature recognition. So I'm gonna redefine this location. So just so I'll just delete this one first, because the new one that I'm creating has the same GPS location, and if they're too close to each other, it's not gonna let me save that. So I'll just swipe that and delete it. And then I'll create a new one. And first of all, I'll define the name of this, and then turn on the GPS. And GPS is mandatory, so if GPS is not turned on, it's not gonna let you save the thing. Wi-Fi is optional, but I'm gonna turn it on anyways. And this option is attached with the Wi-Fi. And I'm gonna pick signature password, So I'm gonna save that. So now if I open that again, now it shows that it's signature password. And just to save time again, for the presentation, we already trained the signature beforehand. So it's
This is my password, my signature, which is.
yeah.
with
So
another
we're using Octavio signature. So now I'll exit the app first, and then come back to the thing.
Give it your best shot.
All right. So I'll just try to imitate his signature first. So and hopefully I can get in. And it's a wrong signature, so now I'll ask Octavio to enter his signature.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I hit save. Okay. So this is good because I have to be very precise with the signature that I enter, right? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the sort of limitation of using signature, that you have to be really precise, or at least somewhat similar to what you entered in your setup phase. So it may or may not pass you.
Okay. I'm gonna try it one more time.
But that's not pass.
Now I'm getting nervous. Sorry. Let's try.
Okay, yeah. So that's the sort of a good thing that he doesn't let him in, because his password, what he trained earlier, was really different, I guess.
And
what
it
he's
has to
trying-
be really exact, and because we're comparing, like we're training the thing, like so it has to go to the exact location in order for it to pass.
Yeah. So we'll just go on with the presentation. Let me see if it just
Yeah.
passes or not.
Wait.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, so that's. So yeah, so that's the limitation of using signature, and now Kir's going to describe how we actually doing it anyways.
Okay, so for the motion gesture recognition, so this consists of 4 steps. First, in the signal filtering, we try to get rid of as much noise as possible, and we're trying to get rid of the shakiness of the user. During clustering, we try to find the significant points in time that the user touches, in this case the corners in the square. During the sequence probability model, we try to find the sequence, the order in which the user touches these points, and during the testing, we compare with the previously tested gesture. In this signature recognition system, we do some feature extraction. We try to compute the histogram of pixels, and then we train a support vector machine, which is a machine learning algorithm. And then when with testing, we compare with the model generated in the previous step.
Sweet.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. So we learned the hard way that using image processing to actually do the signature is really memory consuming, and we could not achieve what we're actually planning to do on phone because we're constantly running out of memory. So what we should have tried earlier, or at least we should consider, is using a backend server to do all the memory intensive computations and even store huge amounts of data that we're getting from signature and for the gesture. And we also realized not to complete with the previous works, because the histogram method actually works. And the previous papers that Octavia analyzed mentioned that histograms are not accurate and they're not going to work. But well, we found that it actually does a fairly good comparison. And now please going to describe what our future work is going to be.
So in the future, we'll allow users to save more files, not just text. And if a rooted device, our initial goal was to modify the lock screen. So in the future, we would like, if the phone is rooted, we would have access to the lock screen, and then change the locking and non-locking of the entire device. And then experimenting with server backend, and then splitting the motion gesture to avoid false positives. Thank you. So now we open the floor to questions.
Yeah, like signature recognition is, very difficult. Yeah, it's pretty ambitious, so it's pretty cool to try it. And just a suggestion, some algorithms that are good for object recognition, instead of support vector machines, you should be looking to convolutional neural networks. Because with those, they allow for translation in the image. So you don't have to be at the exact pixels, as we mentioned. So just for future work.
Yeah, we considered that deep belief networks and support neural networks, and we thought that the device was not powerful enough to.
It's a specific type of neural network. It's a convolutional neural network. So
Okay.
it's quite different than what
Okay,
typical neural networks are.
okay, that will be interesting. Thank you.
I was just curious, by the way, you went through a training thing, and you said you tested it, but is testing you using the screen and seeing what happened before? Did you test it the way you just tested it?
It worked this morning, and the thing is that it has to be the signature has to be very precise.
But what I mean by testing, I mean scientific testing. You put in a signature, he puts in a signature, he puts in a signature, you go through a bunch of people, you see how well it is, how well it works. Did you do that?
Yeah, we did it, and
And
we
so did you learn what we learned today, that it doesn't work that well?
we achieved and during our model training and during the previous testing before putting it on the device, we achieved nearly 82% of accuracy. However, passing these algorithms from working in Python and with the libraries on the desktop it was a bit different. We couldn't achieve some of the features on the device. The libraries do not support certain
You're
functions.
doing that on a desktop, not on that?
And no, but this on the other hand, this works entirely on the phone, and it's.
So we tried the desktop first to see like what the accuracy is and what kind of things we can use, because desktop we had wider amounts of libraries. On the phone we're sort of limited on what we can use, and even then there's delays and sort of finicky at this point.
Just a quick question. So this is a file manager, right? You didn't show the part where you actually create the file. Like, do you expect the user to come in, they create a text file, and then they specify the signature? Like, I don't understand how the whole.
So they create a file, but they create a file and stores in the in the phone on the database, whatever. But we didn't show it just because we showed it last time. Plus that we are limited on what we can show at this.
We showed it in the first screen, the first home screen. It showed the list of files that user had.
That's what I was confused.
Yeah, so there's a plus sign on the top right corner,
Okay.
which allows you to add a new file.
Okay.
And then once you save that, it's going to be listed over there.
So you create the file inside of the app?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I missed it, but is it working on the landscape?
Oh, it's only portrait.
Oh.
Yeah, we're like basically forcing everything to be.
People tend to have like a longer like.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the considerations. But,
Well, one last question. How do you encrypt your files? How do you store the key and how do you...
So currently we are not encrypting the files. There is SQL cipher that we can try, and there's a key. But the issue is that in Apple they have keychain, which stores your keys for encryption safely. On Android, I don't think there's an alternative, so we just didn't implement it at this point.